Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here we have everything that we had already attached. As I said, I moved it back to the countertop because I am putting these extrusions on here and I wanted it to be flat. Everything is flush. Everything is very nice. It's solid. It doesn't wobble at all. It doesn't rock. So really good to see. On the table, it was not as stable. There was like a high point in the table, which is why I moved it over here. And I went and grabbed, right now we were on the final section. So this is the final section of the frame assembly, which is 2.1.6, which is the hotbed support profiles that we're adding here. So it calls for M5 by 8 button head cap screws. Then we have the M5 T-nuts. And in this box, which is in box number 3, it has this right here with the GT2 pulleys and such like that. Well, this box, there's a corner bracket that it says right down here, corner connectors. Okay, this is where you'll find the corner connectors, which are for this chapter. So I'll take one out here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. They're all individually packaged. They seem to be like CNC aluminum maybe. And this is what the brackets look like. There's a hole there and there. So that is where the 2 screws will go. So I'll open these up. And we'll dispose of the garbage. Okay. We'll put this box off to the side because we don't need anything from there right at the moment. We'll open up our bag of T-nuts here. Again, M5 T-nuts and M5 by 8 button head cap screws. So for the M5 by 8 button head cap screws, it's going to be a 3mm. And let's see, so it wants us to put one on each side of the top. So we're only going to be putting one here, just on the top. As you can see, there's the top and the bottom slot there. We're just going to be putting one on each side of the top, all on 4. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, which we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of the corner connectors. Okay. And I'm kind of wondering how these fit in here, because so I'm wondering if I put the other ones in backwards, because on the other ones I have the detent towards the outside of towards the screw, and on this one it has they fit only one way with the detent towards the back of the profile. So hopefully it doesn't matter too much. Again, this is my first printer build, so I'm hoping I don't have to go back and do anything else. So these, I'm just going to be getting them snug. Again, just finger tight snug, just to get them in there and ensure that it's not going to move around as much. Okay. I'm gonna do all of one side here while I'm sitting here, then I'll move to the other side so I can do some of those. And now that I'm looking at it and I'm seeing everything, I don't think it really matters that I put these T-nuts like on this one, like the other way. It's still really tight. So, I mean, I didn't realize that if I flipped it upside down then it would go the other way, but it worked both ways. So, maybe that'll be a noob experience for me. You know, all y'all out there that are watching, you'd be like, oh, that's such a noob mistake. You'll end up taking all that apart. Well, I sure hope you're wrong, but I definitely am going to be finding out. Because it does work pretty nice. You pop the T-nut right in here and it kind of holds with that little detent. But again, these are all tight. There's no slop whatsoever. They're really tight on here. So I don't think it matters really. And that might be something that, you know, that they can look at going forward with the revision. Maybe they put a little schematic in there and show you like, hey, this is how you put this together. But they didn't do that, so I don't know. There, and there. And two of these. Two of those. Those. Two of these. Two of those. Or one of those. Two of those. Those two, and two more on this side. Okay, so we have all those. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go do those because I got all these on. Just those need to be done now. That side. Okay. Cinco más. Why do you not want to go in here? Okay. You don't type of this one. They don't want to go in there. Goes in there like that. Let's see, does this one go this way? Yeah, they don't go in there. You don't want to go in there. Here's another T-nut that the detent is just a little bit too small here. As you can see, it doesn't stick out as far, so I'm just gonna toss it. Everybody said it had many extras, so I'm hoping for the best. Okay. So now, since I'm already over to this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock this to this side towards the outer edge, and then I will lock it to this, because that seems like it would suck it up this way first and then lock it down where it's at. I will say it's a little bit difficult with this driver to kind of tighten it, because it has to be so close to, there's no real slop in the bit, so it's not like a ball head joint where you can kind of move it a little bit. But I definitely have enough room to, you know, get it tight. There's just enough, not as much as I'd like, obviously, but. Okay, so that one's locked in. So again, doing the same thing, loosening the ones that are holding the rail this way. And I'm gonna lock them that way and that way first, and then tighten the ones into here. And now to make sure I can get proper tightness on those other side, I'm going to go to the other side so I can get those a little bit better. Okay. Right now, last one here. Okay. Okay, so both sides are tight. Now I'm going to tighten the ones that clamp this together. So this is all pretty square. This one's a little bit high over here. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up and see if I can't get this to be flush, just for sanity's sake. Really made that one tight there. That's a good problem to have though. With only getting fingertips on it. That one is very tight. So much so I think I'm gonna go get a crescent wrench and try and break it free. we'll just use the channel locks. There we go. Yeah, it's bottomed out, so there's nothing I can really do about that. It's about half of a nail width sticking up. That one's loose. Yeah, it's where it's gonna be. It can't. That one, like a paper thing. Yeah, and then these two are completely flush. Yeah, these two are completely flush, and then this one sticks up just a tiny bit. And again, the perfectionist in me is just trying to get it perfect, which I guess nothing's really perfect. Tolerances. Yep, just that tiny little bit. Okay, so that is all tight. Let's see what it says for the rest of this section, if anything. I think that this was the only thing that it had in that section. Yeah, this top one sits just a touch higher on both sides. And these are pretty flush here. Kind of interesting. And I even, when I was looking at it, I even lifted this up a little bit to see if I could get it flush, and it won't go flush. So maybe it's the way that they cut the extrusion, I don't know. But this is definitely, it seems like it's sitting on that. Yeah, it's right even with the bottom. So we're just gonna have to deal because it's not gonna change. It's bottomed out where it needs to be. So and again, this is all tiny, very tiny bit of rocking, and I think that's more me lifting it up and putting it down, because maybe a tiny bit, the tiniest bit. Let's see what we got for use those. Pay attention to the gap in the profile. Pay attention to the gap in the profile. Is that talking about this gap? Between here? So it wants it to be locked into here. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I think these might be upside down. These might be upside down. Yeah, I gotta take a look to make sure. Because it shows holes here, but I'm not sure if those are supposed to go up or down. It does say pay attention to the gap in the profile. Doesn't say anything about holes being there, but I wonder if the T-nuts are what hold the bed down, or if there's tapped holes in here in these extrusions. So yeah, I gotta check that before we continue. Nope. Okay. So it must use T-nuts for the mounting of the bed. Okay, so that's cool. That's cool. That would have been a lot of work that we would have had to redo. Take all this off and redo it. And if anybody watching that has experience with these T-nuts, obviously I don't. If you could leave a comment at the bottom, if it matters that I put these T-nuts for these rails, if I put them the other way with the bevel going towards, it seems like it would be stronger with how I put it in there and how it lined up. And I mean, they're on there. They're not wiggling, they're not anything, they're very tight. So if you could just leave a comment, let me know if it really matters. I hope it doesn't, because then I got to take everything apart. But just to hear back from you, that'd be great. So that concludes the frame, which is the frame assembly. And that's 2.1 frame assembly. On Fysetc Wiki. So stay tuned. Next, I will be doing the beds and everything else. I can't wait to get this done. I really look forward to printing on it. I need to print on it like 3 weeks ago. So stay tuned, hit that like, subscribe, share, and we will see you in the next one. Take care.